up its withdrawal plans. Earlier today, I spoke with author Arsalan Iftikhar, who supports a quicker exit.
I think that the most recent, controversy that we've seen with the murder of 16 innocent Afghani civilians, including 9 children and 3 women, is just the latest in a series of debacles that have been happening in Afghanistan. As you mentioned, there was the burning of the Qurans at Bagram Air Force Base, and most people forget a few months back there was that high-profile video of American soldiers urinating on Afghani corpses. And so essentially, for every one step forward we take in Afghanistan, it seems as though we're taking 3 steps back whenever one of these incidents occurs. And so many of us think that Afghanistan is becoming a war of diminishing returns, and essentially this might be one of the straws that broke the camel's back.
Let's look at the bigger picture here. What impact have the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq? What have they had on U.S.-Muslim relations?
Well, I mean, it can't do anything to better those relations. I mean, here we have 2 wars. The Afghanistan war is now the longest war in American history in 2 predominantly Muslim nations where, we have proverbially tried to win the hearts and minds of people. And sadly, in 10 years of war, we've probably done more to lose the hearts and mind of people around the world. I think that if we withdraw our troops from Afghanistan, I think that will go a long way in terms of ameliorating our image in the Muslim world and the greater Arab and Middle East.
Let's look at the justice here regarding this U.S. soldier involved in the 16 civilian deaths in Afghanistan. When you see a situation like that and turn it around and say this was a Muslim person who did this, maybe on U.S. soil, talk about a double standard there.
Well, it's really interesting that it took the Pentagon over a week to release this person's name. We all remember the Fort Hood shootings here in the United States, where they released the name of Major Nidal Hassan that same night, even when the facts were still coming in. When the Pentagon talks about safety issues, this soldier had already been removed from Afghanistan. He was taken to Kuwait. He was already given a pre-trial hearing. Again, if this person is found guilty of these crimes, these, under international law, would probably constitute war crimes. And so, these are major issues, and I think it's important, to get the soldier's name out in order for the general public to learn more about this person, and, not just give the government and his defense attorney the opportunity to talk about all his PTSD issues or the fact that he had just seen his friend's leg blown off the day before. We need to see everything in the holistic fashion, in totality, and I think that that's why it's important that they recently released his name.
Okay. Arsalan Iftikhar, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Christians across the Middle East are mourning the death of their spiritual leader.